and welcome to Hot Topics with Tamkin, Riaz. And today we have the UK expert guest for you, which I will tell you in a moment. You're listening and watching us live from London on Ramadan Radio London on 87.9 FM. Also, you're watching us and listening to us on Facebook, YouTube, and other media channels. As I say, I'm your host for today, Tamkin Riaz. And today is a very, very hot topic. It may be controversial, but we are here to educate, inspire, and unite. So everything we are going to do, inshallah, will be according to the Quran, Sunnah, Hadith, and the Imams of the time and how it's moved on. So we're talking about today, we're going to talk about prayer times and how they're calculated and the criteria for the moon sighting, the start and end of Ramadan, the start of the holy months, the start of the Islamic calendar. Why do we do the moon? Well, this was a question that was asked to me by non-Muslims, that you follow the cyclical moon rather than the sun. And I said, this moon is closer. This is my answer. The moon is closer, so more accurate. The sun is 8 more minutes away. So the light takes 8 minutes from the sun to reach us. And the moon is our nearest satellite. And Islamically, as I was told many years ago, maybe wrongly or rightly, the moon is more accurate. But there you go. So that was right. But I'm not an expert. And alhamdulillah, we have an expert here today. And as far as I know, he's the #1 expert on moon sighting in the country, believe it or not. And he's the Imam of Pearly Masjid and was Imam of many other masjids, mashallah. And he's very, very clear. So welcome, assalamu alaikum to Sheikh Suleiman Gani Saab. Salam alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakallah khairan, Tamkin, Riaz. You're always putting me on the hot seat with your hot topics.
Absolutely. This is a hot topic because I get questioned. As you know, I belong to many associations. And they always say to me, Tamkin, do something. Why is this one following this and this one following this? And we have problems. And you are, in the limelight. Why don't you do something? I said, I'm not an expert. I can only go to the scholars. Yes, I can only go to my local imams and the local muftis and talk to them. And obviously, it's controversial in that, as far as I'm aware, that we used to follow in the 70s and prior to the 70s Morocco, because it was the nearest Islamic country. And then around the 80s, another group said we should follow Saudi because that's where Hajj is. And obviously, but these are things. And over the years, there is another group of people saying, well, you should follow, your local area, your local country where you are, because there are Muslims there. If there are no Muslims, we can understand it. But 2-3 million Muslim plus in the United Kingdom. Anyway, I've talked too much, and I will ask the expert and who shed light on it. So we'll start off the obligatory prayers, if we may. How was the obligatory prayers timing set? The only one I know is midday, because the sun is directly on top. That's all I know. So Sheikh Suleiman, let's start the obligatory prayer timings.
Yeah, Jazakallah khairan, Brother Tamkin. What I would suggest, given that we are in the blessed month of Ramadan, and given that inna salata kanat ala al-mu'minina kitaban mawquta, that the salah which has been prescribed on the believers, it is mawquta and it is prescribed. Now understand that when it comes to the prayer times, you have your the night of Isra and Mi'raj, such an amazing journey, the miraculous journey of the Prophet ﷺ from Masjid al-Haram to Masjid al-Aqsa, and from there up to the 7th heavens. So it was on that night of Isra and Mi'raj where he ﷺ invited to the court of Allah, and on that night Allah Ta'ala made obligatory that the believers should perform their salah 5 times a day. So yes, Bunya al-Islam ala khamsin. Islam has been built on the 5 pillars, and after the Shahada, our salah and our prayers is obligatory upon us 5 times a day. So it is the Jibreel alayhi salam who gave and taught the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam obviously the times and of the prayer. And you have your Fajr, which is before the sunrise. You have your Zuhr after the Zawal time. You have your mid-afternoon prayer, and you will have the differences in the timings of the Asr. based on the hadith, حين صار ذل كل شيء مثله, one opinion, one shadow length, and you have the two shadow lengths. So you have the variation of the Asr where there's flexibility. And when you have your Maghrib only after the sunset is about the Gharubat al-Shams, and your Isha, what happens obviously after in the, we have the disappearance of the twilight and the red light and the darkness. So all this discussion, we know that there are very special timings of the 5 daily prayers. But I must say that we are in the month of Ramadan, and I don't know what you think. It is more suitable, in my opinion, to understand the beginning of the Fajr time.
Yes. We start
So
at
if I
Fajr.
may
Yes.
explain basically what I would suggest with the Fajr time, let's look at one point is كلوا واشربوا حتى يتبين لكم الخيط الأبيض من الخيط الأسود من الفجر. So you eat and drink until the white thread of light is distinct from the black thread of light from the dawn. So with regard to the beginning of your Fajr is what is the true nature of your Subh Sadiq, your true dawn. And this is where you may find some misunderstanding or maybe a grave misconception and confusion, because your Fajr time, your Salatul Jama'ah and congregational time can be performed anytime before the sunrise. So you have the Mazahib, you have the fiqh, and in the opinion of the fiqh of Abi Hanifa rahimahullah, Asfiru bil Fajri fa inna a'zamu lil ajri, that you will find that the Fajr is performed more closer towards the time of sunrise. And then you have the opinion where Fajr is done when it is very dark, ghalas. You cannot even see when you are going even for the Fajr, walking in the darkness. So you have the earlier time. So this is what we are trying to, maybe if we can remove one misconception with regard to your beginning of your Fajr is really the true nature of your Subh Sadiq, your true dawn. And that is when your Sahri ends. So when does your Sahri end? That is the question we should really be asking, because we are fasting and it's the month of Ramadan. Because now the question is, why is your Fajr Salah so early? I am Imam there at the Pearly Masjid, and our congregational time at the moment is 3:45, quarter to 4 in the morning. And when you look at the 1st of May, your Sahri ends at 3:05. And this will continue every day. Tomorrow, Sunday, 3:01, and then it's going to go for 2-3 minutes earlier until the last day. When it comes to Wednesday, 12th of May, your Sahri ends at 2:22. So this is the question. This is when the Fajr begins. Now, to simplify it, the calendar that we are following is, we have, in fact, the calendar that we print, we leave a small explanation of what is 18 degrees, because simply it is a 18-degree timetable. So when we speak about your Fajr time, how do you determine? Because astronomical Fajr starts when the position of the sun is 18 degrees below the horizon. Every day we know that there is sunrise and sunset. Now, we have the sun, but what do we know about the sun? Because the sun sets in our understanding, because obviously it doesn't physically set, it is just the way we should understand that the setting of the sun and the depression angle when it goes below the horizon, it sets in the west and rises again in the east. So when the sun rises again in the east, the twilight, the depression angle of the sun, as you can see, the horizon and the setting of the sun, and as you have the night time, but now the Fajr time, this is the first prayer timing begins when the first light appears. That is the beginning of the twilight. This is when your Fajr begins. So your sun, if it's sitting here, it is how many degrees below the horizon? That depression angle creates above the horizon a certain light that starts to appear. First it is the vertical, and that's a false dawn, and then it starts spreading across the horizon. That spreading of the light while the sun is below the horizon is actually the beginning of your Fajr time. And that is the, I mean, for now, we would just try to keep it at that point for people who are following. You know, the question many do ask, why is it, what is 18 degrees and what is 15 degrees? Because if your sun is 15 degrees higher, that means that the horizon will be much more brighter and it's going to be at a much later time. And do you know, I must add, you know, it was in 2013, I attended a meeting there in Central Mosque in Regent's Park, and there was discussion about the prayer timetables. Because do you know, from the 21st of May till the 23rd of July, every year we enter into a phenomena which is known as persistent twilight. And that simply means the sun does not go below the horizon sufficient enough to abolish the twilight. For that, I will recommend, you know, a very beautiful book to read, Islamic Lunar Calendar and Prayer Times by Professor Tariq Munir. He does explain it very beautiful, and he does give also some details about the criteria. I mean, if I can just bring you back to that abnormal period of time, this principle is due to the following the jurors of the Hanafi school. The principle is for those places where during a period of time the twilight does not end, the time of Suhr for this abnormal period will be taken as the time for the last day on which twilight ended. And he's given the example of Aberdeen. The last day on which twilight ends in the night and then begins in the morning was 1:20 a.m. That is 30th of April. So throughout the abnormal period, from 1st of May right up until 12th of August, the limit time of Suhoor will remain at 1:20 a.m. So for people who are living there in Aberdeen, they've now entered from today, 1st of May, into an abnormal period of time. Whereas we are in London, our abnormal period starts every year on the 21st of May. And that is the reason why we had a timetable. If you can recall, we had it called at 1:23 throughout that period of time, because that is the criteria that we use throughout that period. But this year, we've come out of that abnormal period of time. And that is why you will note when you look at our timetable for this period, only after the month of Ramadan this year, when you come to the 21st of May, you will see the timing after 1:33, it remains at 1:20. And that continues, and that will remain right until the 23rd of July. So what does it mean? It simply means that this year the Sharia science exists, the true nature of Subh Sadiq. And for that reason, we are following a criteria which simply means that that sun, when it is 18 degrees below the horizon, that astronomical 18 degrees gives you the true nature of Subh Sadiq for countries of high latitude. I hope that is something just to simplify, because this, you know, we have a presentation, but I just wanted to explain that for the reason why there is confusion of the timetables. In 2013, when we attended that meeting, a timetable that was circulated in the name of Unified Prayer Timetable of for London, it was not 18 degrees and not 15 degrees. So just remember that the timetable, the other timetable, or the later timetable that has been followed now, it is not 18 degrees and it's not 15 degrees. So we have to be very clear on that point there. And for those
So
who are
when will that end? It's abnormal time at the moment, but that will
yes.
end soon, in a few years' time.
Sorry?
So that will end in a few years' time, the abnormal timetable.
The abnormal period of time will remain there, as long as you are living in this world. It won't go away. It is forever. It just means that Ramadan has come out of the abnormal period of time, and this is this phenomena in UK, in London. Every year, 21st May to 23rd July is an abnormal period of time. It is called persistent twilight, and it is only in that period the criteria that was adopted was using Aqrab al-Ayyam, the nearest day, and there are those who may use the nearest latitude or Aqrab al-Balad, you know, different criteria. But the point is, Ramadan this year, we will come to the looking for the moon on the Wednesday, the 12th of May, and when we are going to look, sorry, for that moon, it means the entire period of Ramadan is in normal period of time.
Okay.
So Subh Sadiq, true nature of dawn, happens normally. And to make it easy for us, we don't go out and looking at the sun, where the sun rises on the east. Because if we are going to go out here in London and you're going to look into the sky in the morning, because of light pollution, you will not get the true reflection of when exactly is the Subh Sadiq. And similarly, if you are in Birmingham, in the center of Birmingham, and you want to look and try and understand when is the beginning of Fajr using Mushahada, you see, that is why the confusion is that there was a Mushahada that was carried out in 1989, somewhere in Lancashire, in Blackburn, in a city, in a place where there's light pollution. And that was a timetable that was prepared in 1989, which is not 18 degrees and not 15 degrees, and is not also a reflection on the own Mushahada that was carried out. Maybe at another time, we can give you more details on why is the confusion with the prayer timetable. So my recommendation, Brother Tamkin, it is mumkin for you, inshallah, to follow these Subh Sadiq timings that we have. Ramadan has come out, the Sharia signs exist. And next year also, we go 10 days more earlier, and you can see nobody's going to now raise their eyebrows. You see, the question was when the days or the nights were very short, but we're going slowly, as you know, every year into the winter times. So this issue, you will not find people now so much concerned about it. May Allah make it easy for all of us.
Everyone, inshallah. What about the 30th of Shaban? So
when the Sharia signs exist,
30 days in Shaban, we completed, isn't it? So we completed 30 days in Shaban, alhamdulillah. So some people started a day early and some people started a day late. But if you complete 30 days of Shaban, then the next day is the first of Ramadan. No? Explain that one to a layman like me.
I mean, Tamkin, you just have to bear in mind one point. I'm looking at this conference book. I don't know if you recall this.
Oh, alhamdulillah, that was May 2010. We went to Abu Dhabi and we were at a Moonsighting conference, mashallah. And all the top scholars were there. I remember very well. We went 11 years ago. Yes.
But I found your name in here. It says,
is my name there? Mashallah, mashallah.
Tamkin Riaz, it says Iqra Satellite Channel, UK.
Okay, I was with another TV station then, mashallah.
And so what I wanted to point out to you, it was in this conference in 2010 that you were there, I was there. We had some of the UK scholars, including Sheikh Suleiman Gani, and we had Brother Aziz Raji from Wifaq al-Ulama. Even we had Qamruddin from moonsighting.org.uk, and a very, very respectable grand scholar, Maulana Yaqub Munshi. So here it is.
Yes, I remember there was a gentleman, very well-renowned scientist from America there as well. I don't know if his name is still there. I can't remember, but he was very good.
All these participants that were present there, and many, many Saudi scholars, and in fact, some of the scholars that were present from the Saudi scholars, their names are all here. And, Sheikh Abdullah Al-Munay, and many of the Islamic astronomers that presented and gave a presentation there at this conference. Now, this is very significant because it was at this conference I think it's very important for people to recognize that Muhammad Auda, he is from the Islamic Crescent Observation Project, astronomical and juris problems regarding prayer times, and there was some discussion of presentation which he had given there, and many other topics that were covered. And one of the important topics is, as you rightly pointed out, that was covered in this conference is about the criteria of the visibility of the moon.
That's right.
Do you know that we have, even in the UK, I mean, for those people who may not be aware, there is a grand and a very good scholar who is present here. His name is Sheikh Samiruddin. I would recommend that people do reflect and know that Sheikh Maulana Samiruddin Qasmi is based there in Manchester, and I think he is one of those ulama who have deep understanding of ilm al-falak and astronomy. So when it came to this month, as you said, when it comes to the end of the month of Sha'ban, and because there was confusion about the commencement of the month of Sha'ban, if we go back, when did we start our month of Ramadan? You see, that is the very important question, because in order for us to know, in fact, now we will be having the issue on when is the nights of Laylatul Qadr, when are the odd nights. So the question is, when did the Ramadan start?
Yes.
For this, we have to know something like this.
Oh, it's a lovely model, mashallah.
So as you said, this is only education, and what is it?
We're doing educating people, uniting people, inshallah.
Okay, so you said no moon fighting, only moon sighting.
Only moon sighting. No moon wars.
Okay, we
No
will
moon
just
wars.
keep it that way, because this is a very important first important lesson that we need to know. Is if you go back to the beginning of when we look and done the observation of the crescent moon for the month of Ramadan, and when we think about the criteria of the visibility of the hilal and crescent moon, when the sun and moon and earth are in one line, that is called the conjunction time, and it's called waqtul iqtiran. So when a person is on the earth and is looking into the sky, that moon is dark, it is invisible, you cannot see a new moon. And this is the biggest challenge that we have. What exactly is a hilal and crescent moon?
Yes, yes.
So wherever you are on the face of the earth and you're looking up into the sky, remember what we normally see is the reflection of the rays of the sun that fall onto the moon. So as the moon, as it after the new moon time, do you know how many hours after the new moon can that hilal be visible to the naked eye? So therefore, what we see with the hilal and the crescent moon is only that portion which forms the shape of the hilal. And do you know, you can only see a hilal and moon with the naked eye if it is over 20 hours or 21 hours old moon. Anything
21
less than, I would
hours.
say, 20 hours, it's going to be it's impossible, I would say, to see with the naked eye. That is why one of the criteria for the visibility of the sighting of the moon is that moon, as it grows after the birth of the moon, because birth of the moon is accurate to the second. No one can challenge. If you say, when is new moon? You can go to the astronomical website and you can know exactly when is the next new moon for the next century. You can just click on and it'll give you all of the
And if
data.
you've got a diary or a calendar in the UK, it tells you when the new moon is in the diary, and it's very accurate. Yes.
Yes, it's very accurate to the second new moon. So nobody can challenge and question the new moon. So the Quran says, هو الذي جعل الشمس ضياء والقمر نورا. He is the one, Allah is the one that makes the sun diya. Diya is, it gives light. And the moon is nur. It is not light of its own, but it's a reflection of the light of the sun that you see, the hilal and the crescent. Now you have joined and we have seen how many times we went out to do the sighting of the crescent moon.
Yes, Riverdale Park up in Purley and also in Norbury, Southwest 16. We went many times for moon sighting. Yes, mashallah.
Yes, we go every month. Either we go to Pollard's Hill North or we are there in Riddlesdown Common. In fact, this Ramadan for looking for the Eid moon, we hope you will join us there in
Inshallah.
Pollard's Hill North, inshallah, which is the Wednesday. So do you have the date of Wednesday when you're going to do the sighting of the crescent moon?
Wednesday, 12th of May, inshallah. Or
Wednesday, 12th of May. And do you know one of the reasons why there is the question of why you cannot see a hilal? Because that was only one factor. Now, the age of the moon. Secondly, how high is that moon on your horizon? If that moon is so low on the horizon, like at sunset, 2 degrees altitude, 3 degrees altitude, 5 degrees altitude, which simply means it is so low on the horizon that at sunset time, when you're going to go and do your salah, and after 15 minutes, that hilal is going to be much lower. So therefore, the people who are specialists in this field and they have ilm, like we have to ask those who are the specialists, فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. Ask the people who have knowledge if you do not know. Yes, astronomy of the Islamic calendar. Ask the people who are specialists in this field. This is by Muhammad Ilyas. You will find that the criteria for the visibility of the sighting of the crescent moon, at least at sunset, you should have over 9 degrees altitude.
9 degrees.
If the moon is low on the horizon, 4 degrees, 5 degrees, 3 degrees, it's really impossible to sight a hilal. And therefore, the question that may ask, from all of the data that is available, how many times was a hilal and moon sighted when it is so low on the horizon? That is available. It has been analyzed, that data is available. So take this point. Firstly, we have to know 29th of Ramadan, okay, we will go out to do the sighting of the moon, but there are certain information which we may use to help us and to aid us so that we can use that which is beneficial for us, so that we don't leave the month of Ramadan except with certainty. Because another criteria for the visibility of the crescent moon is that the moon must set after the sunset. So the question is, how many minutes after the sunset? And that is very crucial. Alhamdulillah, there has been a detailed explanation of like ulama, wufaqul ulama, that have come together, and ulama, and they have understood the criteria of the visibility of the crescent. But I must add, we do not use all of these data to establish the month. We still go out to do the sighting, as you're fully aware that every month, wherever we are, if you are in Brighton, we will do the sighting. If you are somewhere up north, anywhere on the 29th, you just go out and do the sighting of the crescent moon. And it's very important that I just wanted to add that at least after sunset, there should be 30 minutes should pass, nothing less than 25 minutes. Because if there's too much of solar glare after sunset, if the moon sets after sunset, even 10 minutes, 15 minutes, it's going to be very difficult to see a moon with the naked eye because of the solar glare. So that is another factor of the criteria of the visibility. And another criteria is the angular separation of the moon from the sun. That is also another important point to just take into consideration. So therefore, the beautiful sunnah is, La tasumu hatta taruhu, don't commence the month until you sight that hilal. So when it came to the 29th of Sha'ban, and on the 29th of Sha'ban, when declarations were made that the moon was sighted, the age of the moon was 15-hour-old moon was claimed sighting there in Nigeria. A 16-hour-old moon in Morocco in 278 locations was not sighted. And that is why it's very important point to take a lesson with this knowledge of ilm al-falak, astronomy, that whenever there is a claim of a sighting on any country on your east, then all those countries on the west, after their sunset, must also see that moon. So the rule is, if a sighting is in any country on your east, not the other way around. Because if a moon is going to be sighted in America and it's 8 hours ahead of us, they will only see it 8 hours after our sunset. So you cannot wait for so long. Therefore, if, for example, a moon was sighted in Nigeria, for example, then you have to look at all those countries on the west of Nigeria. Did they sight that moon? And therefore, when you see there was no really sightings on any country on the west of Nigeria, therefore, For the people living here in the UK, our closest country that we and Wifaq ulama are following is Morocco. So, Brother Tamkin, you may be wondering why Morocco and why, I don't know if it's come to your mind, because there is a group in the masajid, many masajid in the UK follow Saudi Arabia.
That's
so
right.
I'm not sure, are you clear on that point?
I'm very clear. Saudi is too far away. We are on the same level as Morocco. But we should do local moon sighting. You see, we live in the UK and we can see the moon. So why are we relying? Yes, it's nice to see Nigeria and the Western countries of the West Africa, the moon going across all the way then to Morocco and bottom of Spain and France and then the UK. We should be able to follow and track the countries, but we
So
should do locally as well.
Subhanallah, I get your point, because here we are in the UK, and yes, Saudi Arabia is right
Far
on this
away.
side. Why are we going so distant away when Morocco is much near?
That's
so therefore, I mean, it's a good question. You see, I don't want to go into the details of the reason, but there was some history behind the decision for people in the UK to follow Saudi Arabia. For that time, I would say it was valid. So in the 1980s or 1970s, there were those who were following Morocco. And at that time, we didn't have like how we have today, instant communication, instant coffee, or sorry, everything gets, news travels very fast. What's happening in one part of the world, and now you can get the information of the sighting of the moon from Morocco by the fax, which is received every month by a few organizations in the UK. So therefore,
yes, people started on different days. Yes, Tuesdays. Yes.
Yes, people started on different days, the month of Ramadan. And the reason why, because there were those whom decided to follow, who follow Saudi Arabia. And we are saying that we've attended the conference, we've understood, we've met the Saudi scholars and astronomers. We know about even the data that is available. Even it is also, you can know for every region, even in Saudi Arabia.
I remember at the
conference.
I remember, Sheikh, at the conference in 2010 in May when we went 11 years ago. They said, "Please do not follow us." I remember very, very clearly. Saudi said to us, "Please do not follow our moon sighting. Do your local moon sighting." And this was what was taken away. In America, they said the same. The Saudis said the same to the Americans, to the British, to the French, to the Pakistanis, to India, Malaysia. Please do your own moon sighting. Our moon sighting is for us.
Yes.
So I remember very clearly. Yes.
Yes.
So why are we still following Saudi when Saudi have said to us, please do your local moon sighting?
And this is also published from Mamlaka Arabiya, Medina Malik Abdul Aziz. And you can see the information is very, very clearly available.
That's right.
And this is in 1432, and this is 1436, 1430. This information is available. Ahwalul Ahilla. So it's not like the information is not out there. The confusion is, a criteria when somebody says they had sighted that moon, and it was in Morocco, that moon was 16 hours. And the confusion is the moon in Saudi Arabia for the beginning of Ramadan, it was a 13-hour-old moon. And according to our people of specialists and astronomers, it's impossible to sight it. So even if you look at the visibility maps, you can go to Greenwich and all of them, it was impossible sighting. And that is why we have these two different dates of the commencement of the month of Ramadan. There are masajid in the UK, when they found that in the 1980s, they came together, some ulama, and they decided that let's make it easy. We can just unite and follow the Saudi dates. And that is what really is the big confusion, not knowing that over now 33 years have gone by, and all those years, they have a pre-calculated Qura calendar, and that criteria does not match the visibility of the moon.
But that is your opinion as well. So we have to make sure that your opinion as well. Your opinion is an educated opinion. Yes, it's your education. You've inspired and you've united. But there are some people I'm not saying they're not educated, but they want just, oh, we just follow Saudi for the sake of following Saudi, for unity's sake, that all over the world, Eid is on one day. Commencement of Ramadan is on one day. So, we have to think we are now in the 21st century. We have to find knowledge, and alhamdulillah, knowledge is at our fingertips now. So we should all unite scientifically as well as, culturally, because Pakistan will start a day after us. Although Pakistan is 4 or 5 hours ahead of us, they're actually doing the following day when we first started. So, I think we should look locally. We are now all educated from, thank you, Sheikh, and this is obviously your educated opinion that you are educating everyone with, mashallah.
Yes, indeed. And I just wanted to highlight to you one important point. If you look
Yes.
at this visibility map, it's very important for our looking for the moon on the day of Eid. I don't know if you can see it.
Yes, I can see it perfectly.
So you look very clearly where is the first visibility, and where it says dark green, that means that moon will be easily visible in those areas. And therefore, when we are looking at UK, you can see it's very, very
it's red.
Very difficult.
Zone.
But in Morocco,
yes,
they have a B code, which means there is a possibility of sighting that hilal in a dakhla in one region in Morocco. And that is the reason why we understand that this is on the 29th, remember, this is not the 29th of Ramadan, this is on Tuesday, 12th of May, we're going to look for that moon. And the reason why you may find most of those who follow this criteria, they are going to take the sighting that is going to come from Morocco, which have 278 locations. And what's going to happen in Saudi Arabia, they have an impossible sighting even on the Tuesday. So that means
it's a red zone again. Yes, it's red coming towards the yellow. Yes.
So they have to complete 30 days, and that is how we will have most likely one united Eid. That is the only good news I can give you. Thursday, 14th of May. Is that correct? Or 13th of May?
13th.
Yes, and for those who are strictly following local sighting, they may do Friday, and that is why it can only be a Thursday, for the people who have been following this criteria. And until that time comes when we have enough locations here in the UK, then inshallah we can have our own UK Islamic calendar where people only do local sighting, inshallah.
Inshallah. And the more people who can set up groups on high, there must be a high hill, yes, or somewhere a high point to look. Because if you're lower down, the criteria won't vary. The horizon will be above you. You should try and go above on a high plane to see the sunset and also to see the moon, inshallah.
Yes.
And as you pointed out, 21 hours of the new birth of the moon, you can see it visibly, usually 21 hours. Yes, so I've learned more. Mashallah.
Anything less than 21 hours, this moon on 29th of Ramadan, I think if you check, it's over 24-hour-old there in Morocco. And that is why we have great hope, inshallah. We will have to take a report, wait for the report and the sightings to have that confirmation. And may Allah Ta'ala unite our hearts. And that is why, it is by default that those who started Ramadan one day earlier, they have no choice in it. They will have to complete 30 days. And you can put this on record. And that is the reason why we will have, inshallah, united Eid. And please join me at the Pearly Park playing fields for Eid in the open, Eid in the park. Are you ready for that?
Mashallah, good. Okay. On Thursday or Friday?
Yes, now, until we have not yet agreed to follow only local sighting. And the reason why we don't have enough data. We have now 4 years and we don't have enough locations. Do you know Morocco have 278 locations? So hopefully, inshallah, a time will come where more and more emphasis is there for people to revive this great sunnah. And that feeling you get of hope when you take your children, for this, when we couldn't see the moon on the 29th of Sha'ban, and the next day we went on the 30th of Sha'ban. Subhanallah, we went out and the children were full of excitement and joy, and we read the dua. اللهم أهله علينا باليمن والإيمان والسلامة والإسلام هلال رشد وخير ربي وربك الله. That crescent of hope, that amazing feeling, you cannot even explain in words. And this is an opportunity during this lockdown, or we do say pandemic, and people are depressed at home. They come out to the park and they look at the moon and they get more hope. It's a crescent of hope.
Mashallah, crescent. And don't forget, the most southerly point is towards Brighton. So it starts from Brighton onwards, and then it reaches London, and then Birmingham, Manchester, and then it goes up to Scotland. And there's always a time difference, a few minutes time difference.
Yes, I believe in Cornwall also. Cornwall is a good location to do sighting. Cornwall.
Okay, Cornwall. Okay, you're on the tip. Yes,
yes
of England.
yes.
So Cornwall, Brighton, mashallah. Yes, yes. Well, Sheikh, again, you have inspired us all. You have educated us all, and inshallah, we'll be all united with one Eid. All the families are praying for one Eid. I know that. And you know, different in the same household, there are two Eids. So inshallah, let's educate, inspire, and unite everyone that we should do local sightings as well as the 200 plus locations in Morocco that are confirming this. So this is what I follow my local masjid. I'll be honest with you, Sheikh Suleiman. I follow my local masjid.
Your local masjid is Pearly.
Wherever they are right. To stop confusion, I follow my local masjid because I'm not an expert, but I do know a little bit. But for the sake of peace, I follow my local masjid. But what do you follow your local masjid? You are the imam of the local masjid in Purley. I'm in Croydon. You're in Purley masjid, but I think they keep the same. I think usually, yes.
Yes, Purley Masjid and Croydon, we are following the same criteria. That is the same. And
Balam and Tooting as well.
Inshallah, we are hoping and praying that the time will come. At the moment they are in discussion and they are reviewing the criteria. They have a criteria which is accepting the sighting of a country of a moon if it sets in their country.
And Wimbledon and Sutton, Wimbledon, Sutton, Merton. I'm talking about South London mainly.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, it is mainly, I would say, Croydon and Purley that have been firm on establishing and working towards a criteria. And therefore, when we look at this, we don't look at it in this only in this few masajid, because we have to look at it nationally, because this is for the whole of UK.
Inshallah, yes.
So we are praying and hoping that in every area, every region, there are again a consensus, unity can be established on the criteria of the visibility of the moon and not on the birth of the moon. That is the main confusion.
Birth and visibility
of the moon is very different from the sighting of a crescent moon. And yes, Muslims have a great heritage, Muslim heritage in our world. If you read this 1001, and you can see so much of details in astronomy, and whether it's the astrolabs and the prayer times, all this can. In fact, I even visited the universe of Ulugh-Beg. This was in Uzbekistan. There's so much of information that we can have. So I think its time has come that we need to...
The time has come, yes, 7 o'clock, mashallah, the time has come. And the time has come to unite, to educate and to inspire the Ummah and the people and the Muslims of the United Kingdom to inshallah have one Eid, one moon sighting day, and the start of Ramadan and start of the holiday.
And there's one more point. There was one more I wanted to actually share with you.
We're running out of time, so if you can be very quick.
My only encouragement is more and more people should at least go and do the sighting, whatever you are following, and that will be a great sunnah to revive for now.
Yes, so to revive the sunnah of moon sighting. Thank you very much, Sheikh Suleiman Gani. Always a pleasure. And inshallah, we'll meet up soon. Jazakallah khair. You were listening.
We'll meet up on Wednesday, 12th of May.
Wednesday, 12th of May. Or yes, we will be there on the Norbury Hill, inshallah.
Norbury Hill in Pollard's Hill, yes, inshallah.
And Pollard's Hill, inshallah. So thank you everyone for listening to us, the Hot Topics and Sheikh Suleiman Gani. You were listening to Ramadan Radio London on 87.9. And this video, I think, is going to be a controversial one. So thank you, Radio Ramadan, for allowing us to come on air and view our points. and educate, inspire, and unite. Jazakallah khair.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.